They set their racing now.
The racing industry is very glamorous and has a very great public image. But there are some very serious animal welfare concerns. The coalition is campaigning for the abolition of jumps racing. Our main focus is the racing industry because it is the most amount of horses that are used within our lives. It is such an important role to be able to speak up on behalf of those animals that can't speak for themselves.
My dad was a trainer, so used to get taken to the races. As soon as the horses were too slow and were on the verge of going from the stable, we'd educate them to jump. We become pretty good mates with the jumpers. We'd hate anything to happen to any of them.
This year there has been 13 horses killed in jumps racing, both in Victoria and South Australia. Crying Storm went over the hurdle, crashed into the ground. He got up and he was running on these two flimsy legs that were either broken or very seriously injured. Just ran off and then smashed into the barrier and crashed through it and then jumped up, and it was just something that, you know, should not be happening to these beautiful animals. A significant number of horses that participate in jumps racing that aren't killed on the track also disappear off the track each year. There's over 150 horses raced last year that have not reappeared in jumps racing this year, given that you've only got about 200 and 300 horses that are racing each year. That's a pretty damning number. 63% of the races were held this year as compared to last year. So as you can see, it's a significantly reduced number of races, but we're still having greater falls and greater fatality rates.
I lost 2 horses this year, which was a bad year. Hassel was one of them, and the other horse we lost prior to Westbury, he put his knee down onto the rubber mattress and tried to land on one front leg and just landed on his head. I don't know whether he'd had a heart attack or not, but he was dead immediately.
The accidents and deaths often go unreported. That could mean anything. The reason that horses are dying is because of the watery and insipid safety changes that Racing Victoria have continued to implement.
Trying to do the right thing by the animal liberationists and the jumps activists, we've made the hurdles lower and made less hurdles.
We've been campaigning for a ban. Racing Victoria have been too impotent to input a ban, and so they've caused all of these deaths.
Now these jumps are so small, the horses are putting one front foot out and one back, and almost jumping like a human, but at the end of the day they can't land on one front leg. If we get brush hurdles back with panels that actually fall forward, probably looked a little bit unsightly that the hurdle was laying on the ground, but not as unsightly as an animal laying on the ground. You'll see the fatality and the injury of horses go down by so much.
I think the suggestion of having the hurdles fall down is really a ludicrous one, because any time that you put an object in front of a pack of horses that are running and racing is going to be dangerous, whether it falls down or whether it stays up for the next lap. If they banned the sport, these horses wouldn't die. Simple.
13 horses killed this year! Ban jumps racing! Animal abusers, total losers! Ban jumps racing!
We've probably done, I think, about 7 or 8 in Victoria this year.
They obviously believe in what they're saying.
We milk every single opportunity to get media to show the general public what's happening.
Racing Victoria took a really dim view of their antics that day.
There's a lot that, you know, do try and get fired up and, you know, be a bit aggressive to us. If we weren't doing the protests, a lot of the deaths would go unheard of. People say a lot of these horses that are involved in jumps racing are actually going to be killed if jumps racing is banned.
There'd be probably more put down. I'm not saying that to be sensationalist. Yeah, horses that are unruly or hard to ride or unattractive, they'd go to the knackery.
If jumps racing is banned, we will assist in every single way possible to stop these horses from going to the knackery, because it's no place where any animal should ever end up. I think that a ban on jumps racing will actually be better for the racing industry. It will attract less bad publicity for them. Racegoers will actually be able to go to the races without having to worry that every 1 in 23 races that they watch a horse is going to die.
I think it's safe for at least 5 years. And then at the end of 5 years, I think one of the things that'll be looked at will be how many people bet on the sport. If people don't bet on it, doesn't matter how safe it is, there won't be jumps racing.
Jumps racing in Australia, more likely than not, will end if it's banned in Victoria. It's going to be an international victory because it will disappear from Australia's shores, and that means that it's one step closer from being banned around the world. If you ask somebody, do you justify animal cruelty? They'll say no. The problem that we're facing is that people don't know the cruelty involved.
I'd love to see the horses jumping safer jumps, not only for my sake, but definitely for the horses.